866-300-9298. You're listening to Financial Issues. We're here every day at this time on American Family Radio Network. We are going to get to the phones. Before I do that, I want to remind you all that Mobile, Alabama, if you live anywhere near Mobile, Alabama, I hope you're going to come out and meet me. I would love to meet all of our listeners in that area at our town hall meeting. You know, it's one of the things that I feel like I have such, I don't know if it's an advantage, but such a good time with being on the radio, because unlike so many others, I meet so many of my listeners, thousands every year face to face. And I love that. I love the opportunity. I love to have the opportunity to talk to as many of them as possible. And we do that at our town hall meetings. So over the next 4 town hall meetings that we're going to do in the next couple months, I'll meet thousands of people that'll come out and shake our hand and have an opportunity to say a few words to. And I sure appreciate that, because it helps me understand the heartbeat of my listener. And I sure appreciate that. And we're going to be in Mobile, Alabama. I'm going to be there April 7th. That's a Monday evening. We start at 6:30. We're over about 8:45, 9 o'clock. We'll stay. We answer questions starting about 8 o'clock or so. And we have a great time. You're going to love it. Nobody ever leaves. Everybody stays. It's amazing to me. But we have a great time. And we're going to be in Mobile, Alabama on April 7th. You're going to hear things about the economy. You're going to hear ways to prepare for what I believe is coming. I'm going to talk about that in much greater detail and give you some real practical help. But Mobile, Alabama, April 7th. We're going to be on April 28th. We're going to be in Columbus, Ohio. And then we're going to be in May 13th in Muskegon, Michigan. And on May 15th, we're going to be in Lafayette, Indiana. Now, look, we need you to register. So if you go to financialissues.org, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you'll see a little box there that says Faith, Family, and Finance. There's 4 boxes or 5 boxes at the lower part of the page. Click on that, and it'll take you to the registration page. It doesn't cost anything. We're not asking you for money or anything like that. As a matter of fact, we don't ask you for money at all for anything during this town hall meeting. It's not what it's about. And we are going to share some great stuff with you, but we need a head count. It's really important that we get a head count. And we have times when, we'll get 30, 40 people come that never registered, and, it kind of puts us in a little bind. So we ask you, just as a favor, would you go and register at financialissues.org, click and register, or you can go to afr.net and click on that same box, Faith, Family, and Finance, and register. Now, some of you have said, can I call? Yes, you can call. And you can call 800-326-4543. 800-326-4543, extension 345. As soon as the line picks up, put in 345, and you can register that way. If you don't want to go online. But we just need a head count. We sure would appreciate it. Mobile, Alabama, just in a couple weeks. We'll be there on a Monday evening. So we hope you come out April 7th, Mobile, Alabama. If you live anywhere near there, come on out, and you won't regret it. We have a great time. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Bob. Bob's calling us from Pennsylvania. Hi, Bob.
Good morning, Dan. New listener and faithful listener.
Thank you.
Good to have you. What a privilege.
Thanks.
I have a question. I'm getting a pension payout from a former employer. My question is, can I divide that between can I send it 2 different places, really? Right now I was planning on putting it into TIAA CREF, where I already have a very small amount of money, like $2,500. Mm-hmm. But now that I've learned about the Timothy plan and your show, and I'm interested in putting that money where I know it can be used better, like with the Timothy plan. Mm-hmm. Are you allowed to split where that pension payout goes?
Yeah, it is. You're allowed to do it, but it's going to be totally up to the administrator of the pension plan that you're receiving. So, whether they're doing it or not, I don't know. Certainly you can do it, when you receive it. But if you're wondering whether they're allowed to do it, they are allowed to, but whether they will do it or not is another story. So
I see.
How do you get it now, Bob? Do they send it directly to you?
They're going to send it directly to me
Okay.
in the next 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
I had it going one place, and now I'd like to split it or send it all to another place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would suspect that you're going to have to do that. And what I would do is once you start receiving that, you're going to, you're getting direct deposit, I would assume, of that.
No, they told me they're going to send a check.
Oh, really?
I was a little
Okay.
surprised.
Yeah, that's odd. So you'll know roughly, you're going to get it probably the same time every month. And I would just have an automatic withdrawal.
Well, it's a one-time payout.
Oh, it's a one-time payout. Okay, that's a
One-time
different
payout.
story. That's a different story. I'm sorry. You're getting a lump sum distribution from a one-time. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So here's the thing: you're going to have to, unless you want to pay tax on that whole lump sum, which I don't think you want to do.
No.
You're going to have to take that, and you're going to have 60 days to roll it into another IRA account.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to pay. If you distribute that to anywhere else, that's going to be considered are you under 59 and a half, Bob?
I am, but I'm
Yeah.
disabled, so
Okay.
I receive SSDI.
Okay. Yeah. Once you get that, you're going to have to. Is it an SSDI back distribution, or is it actually
no,
from a company? Okay.
The pension payout is from a former employer where I used to
Okay.
work.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to have to, really to avoid the penalty, the 10% penalty, and the taxes on it. You're going to have to roll that into an IRA. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yep.
But can I write a check, put X amount here and X amount in B?
Yeah. Different IRAs, you mean?
Right.
Yes, absolutely. You can divide it up.
Oh, great.
You can divide it up as much as you need to. Yeah, you can put it in five
That's
different
exactly what I wanted to know.
accounts. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that. That's no problem at all. Yep.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Bob.
your program.
Man, I appreciate you watching or listening. Sure appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you keep listening. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Elsa in Ohio. Elsa?
Yes.
How are you?
Yes, I've been listening for about a year ever since I retired, and retired when I was 67. And I have two questions on Social Security.
Okay.
The first one is, can your Social Security benefits or payments be reduced if you receive an inheritance? Because in an article by Bruce Williams, a syndicated columnist that writes about money, some woman wrote in and said a friend of hers was making $1,200 a payment, for Social Security, and it was reduced to $800 after her daughter died. Now, it didn't signify whether maybe daughter was retarded, something, disabled or whatever.
Right.
So the man said, well, who can explain government? It doesn't have any logic.
Yeah. No.
So that would be one question.
It cannot be reduced.
Okay.
It's not going to be. Now, maybe the situation was a Social Security disability benefit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and in that case, it could be reduced, but not your normal Social Security. You can earn $1 million a year. Now, some of your Social Security is going to become taxable if you earned a lot of money, but it's not going to be. You're still going to get it. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that.
And my second question is, not that it concerns me because I don't make that much, but what is is there a ceiling for Social Security payments? Like I saw in the paper one time where somebody was drawing over $2,000 a month. I mean, if you make a lot of money, is there a top ceiling for how much you can actually?
Yeah, receive? Yes,
Yeah.
there is. Yeah, there is a top. There is a maximum amount. So,
like I said, I don't have to worry about that. But thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening, Elsa. I appreciate it. That's a great question. Yeah, there is a ceiling. There's a ceiling of withdrawal. So in other words, if you make a certain amount of money, then obviously if you make a certain amount of money, you're at some point in time they stop withdrawing Social Security out of your pay. Once you reach a certain point, maxing out your Social Security that you need to contribute every year. But that would also qualify you for the maximum benefit that you can receive as well if you have extended period of time of doing that. So, yeah, that's how that works. Let me go to Al. Al calling us from Oklahoma. Hey, Al.
Dan, thank you very much for taking the call. First-time caller. The lady that answered the phone was very courteous, and I'd just like to say a comment, if I may.
Sure.
I listen to your show every opportunity to have a salesman on the road, and I just thought the other day, and I want to share this with you and your listeners, we would pay thousands of dollars to go to university to learn about financial issues and learn things, how to be smarter with our money, and we get it free of charge through AFR and through your ministry. And I promise you I will be making a donation to your ministry at financialissues.org. And I hope somebody else hears this and nods their head in agreement and does the same to help your ministry. The question I have for you, Dan, in Oklahoma, I kind of pay attention to the oil, and it seemed like the oil companies used to go out and look for a place to drill for oil, have a good possibility of return. But now it seems, as I read the paper, that the oil companies now are driven by investors, not by the product of oil and the service of providing oil to the public and growing their success of their business and hiring more people and get better technology through the profits they get from oil. It seems like now they're making business decisions on where to go with oil and what to do based on the ROI to the investors. So if they look good on paper and the investors are happy, then everything's fine. If not, an icon or somebody comes in and takes over and tells them what they should do. And again, based on the paper, not the oil, that it could be sold and bought out and divided up, and people could be fired and let go. Now, that's my question. Do I have the right picture on this? Because it's wrong to do business that way if I'm correct, but I'd rather have you correct me and say, no, Al, you got it wrong. Here's why it is working that way.
Al, you are right smack on the head of the nail. You are absolutely right. And Al, that's exactly, you actually even said it better than I said it earlier this morning, but I was saying in the first segment that exact same thing, and I was using General Mills as an example. That so the oil company, to use your example, and all these corporations, here's the problem that we've got ourselves into today. They have one obligation in their mind. Their obligation is to satisfy their stockholders. They report to their stockholders, they report to their board, and their goal is to make sure that there is value added every year to the stockholders, period. Now, back in the old days, when during the Industrial Revolution and even not that long ago, there was a day where good businessmen, take Henry Ford as an example or others, never worried about that because their mentality was, if I do the right thing, if I grow the business, if I drill for oil, if I find more oil, if I have efficient rigs and I can drill as efficiently as possible, and then I can do my geological surveys and find more oil, more natural gas, and more of it, the other issue of bottom line will take care of itself. It's not something I should even be thinking about. It's like a coach coaching a basketball team saying, look, we're going to worry about fundamentals. We're not going to worry about wins. See, the wins will come if we're fundamentally sound as a team. But if all we're worrying about is winning, we're going to end up losing all the time because we're going to look ugly and we're not going to be working on the fundamentals. And, that may sound like a silly analogy, but it's right. I mean, that's exactly what is happening today. And it's very frustrating because they're concerned if they were focused on doing what they do, then the economy would grow and people would get hired. But when you can manipulate, and again, I said earlier, I'm not using that word manipulation of their balance sheets as something unethical necessarily, or something wrong, or something illegal. That's not what I mean by that. But what I mean is when you look at from an accounting standard, you can add value to your bottom line and to stockholders by buying back your stock, by using your money to buy stock back, by using your money to shore up your balance sheets, by borrowing cheap money, and then using that cheap money to buy your stock back. That drives the price of your stock up, and you have just turned that cheap money into very valuable money, and that's adding value to your bottom line. There's a lot more to that, so that's very simplistic, but that's exactly what is happening now. And, you're seeing that. You're seeing it firsthand living there in Oklahoma. And Al, I want to thank you because you have blessed me today. You truly have, and I thank you for those encouraging words. That is exactly what I try to do, I want to do, and I pray to God that I do every day. I ask God every day in my prayer time every morning that I might be as a son of Issachar. And I'm not worthy to be as a son of Issachar. I know that, but I pray that every day. And if you remember, the sons of Issachar had understanding of the times. And I pray that, and I ask people around the country to pray that for me and with me each day. Thank you for that, Al. You truly have blessed me. I sure appreciate it. 866-300-9298. We'll be right back.